Welcome to the Sales Navigator Live Show with Stan and Bryn. Join LinkedIn expert and sales professional Bryn Tillman and me, Stan Robinson Jr., Chief Coaching Officer here at Social Sales Link, as we bring you the best tips and strategies for leveraging Sales Navigator for your sales success. Enjoy the show. Howdy, Bryn.
Stan, how are you, my friend?
Doing excellent this wonderful day.
Awesome. I'm excited for our chat today.
Yes, we'll be talking a little bit about account pages. And many of the things we'll be talking about are things that we're all looking at all the time. I just want to remind you of the utility of some of the things that we may see them right in front of us, but never click on them and therefore miss some of the use that they have.
I'm excited. This is a list that I think everyone can be using just a little bit better.
Yeah, so I wanted to start with the one, interestingly enough, that you, Bob, and I are using right now, which is the notes feature, which everyone's using a CRM and so forth and so on. But there are times when it's helpful just to be able to add a quick note right in Sales Navigator. And we have the ability to do that both on accounts, which we're talking about today, but also on leads.
Lead lists too.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's a great way to quickly be able to share information internally.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we do have the option to choose public or private.
Yes, absolutely. So then, and people misunderstand public. They think if it's public that everyone in the world can see it. But public just means everyone in your Sales Navigator instance can see it.
Exactly. Yes.
But
yes.
I love this, the way we're using it now, essentially, is we have one project that we're all working toward. And if we are in or work on a lead, we've got notes in there so that we're not stepping on each other's toes or double reaching out to the same person.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so it's been great. What are some other ways you use notes in an account page?
Right now, that has been the only one.
I'll share a couple others that I've done.
Yeah, please go right ahead, because that's what I love about these.
Yeah, I know. We each get better, just a little bit better for each time we do this, right? Each of us learn off of each other. So if I get introduced by someone, I will put in the notes who introduced me, but I will also put in the notes into the company, and it might be more than one person. So in the lead notes, I always add that, but I go to the company page and I add that as well. And the reason is, like, if that person leaves in 3 years, I want to see what activity have I had inside of that account. And it could be 2 or 3 different people that I've been introduced to. If, for example, we have an ebook and someone is quoted and I send it to 10 people inside of that organization, sometimes I'll just take their LinkedIn URL and say sent to and paste all those 10. So when I go back to the account, I have a record of what we've done. Now we have a CRM, but we're a smaller company and we don't use the CRM as deeply as we should. No question. It's really, and as the founder of the company, I take on responsibility, but really when I have a proposal is when I put it in the CRM. And it's bad. But so there are a few things that I think are really important inside of Sales Navigator, and taking notes becomes that CRM. So if someone else from an organization reaches out, I can jump in and go, boy, did I ever talk to anyone there before? And I'll say, oh, is Joe still there? I talked to him a couple of years ago. So it's right there. Then, yeah, if you have, which we don't have, an instance in your CRM, like with Microsoft Dynamics or Salesforce, or I think Pipedrive is connected. I think, and we're looking at
We hope
Pipedrive
so.
right now because it
Mhm.
is connected. Zoho. There are a few that are connected that you can click a button and it will add that note into the CRM. So if you're a sales leader and you're like, I don't want my gals and guys taking notes where I can't see them, make sure that your CRM is connected to your Sales Navigator instance.
Mm, great.
Yeah.
Yeah, great advice. Yeah, I love the idea about adding the people you've been in touch with, in contact with within the organization, because it's just in one place right there.
Yep. 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 Yep.
So love that. All right, so notes is one. We just wanted to remind everyone that it's there. Another one that is right in front of us are basic statistics on the size of the company. So just it's a quick point of reference. When you go onto the account page, it'll quickly tell you right at the top, right under the company name, how many employees they have on LinkedIn and how large they are
Hmm.
in terms of revenue. Now, obviously, you can find that information when you're doing searches and filters and so forth. But when you get to the account page, it's helpful. You can just quickly scan and see, okay, this is how big they are. This is how many people they have on LinkedIn
Hmm.
and so forth. And if you want to drill down, you can just click on view more details.
Hmm.
And this is probably a feature, and you can let me know what you think, Bryn,
Yes.
that's going to get much stronger with AI.
Absolutely.
And yes, so as Sales Navigator continues to integrate AI, the amount of information that will be available to us with the click of a mouse
So
is going to be
there is
amazing.
a click of the mouse that we can use here, not AI yet, but it's persona. So if we dive in, and this is where I finally understood the value of persona. I do not like persona used in a typical search, in like a lead search or an account search, but I love persona in an account, on an account page. So when we do a deep dive, and let's say they have 1,000 employees, with one click of the persona, and you could have three, up to three at live at a time, we can identify all of those influencers as we have um, identified them. And this is, I think, the magic of persona and why I think it's very powerful.
Yes, and you exactly jumped to exactly what I was going to mention next.
I'm
Now,
sorry.
that's okay because that's what we're doing here. Now, I'll double check this. I think you can have up to 5 personas, but I know
Oh,
things continually change.
I'll check while
But
you
the
keep
last I
talking.
heard, yeah, was 5. So, what I was gonna talk about next is the ability to just quickly search all the employees when you're on an account page. When you are on the page, you'll see the option to click on all employees and pull everybody up, but you'll also see the option, as Bryn was talking about, to be able to filter by persona. And in fact, let me
So
just
it
check
is
something because
5, but I
last
only have 3. So
yeah,
I
we're
was
only
based
using
on the fact that I had 3, I thought that was it. So very cool.
yes.
Very see, that's my build 2 more persona.
Yes, and so if if you have multiple personas within an organization, especially large organizations, and you're talking to people in finance and sales, marketing, whatever the case may be,
Mhm.
take advantage of that feature because then you can start your searches within an account
Mhm.
based on persona, which is super helpful.
Love it.
And yep, yep. So that brings me to the next, which is Relationship Explorer, which is where you really see a drop down that allows you to search by all employees or by the personas that you've set up, or you can even create a one off persona. If there's a scenario where you say, I'm in this account, for this particular account, maybe I need to look for people meeting these four criteria, or, you know, uh, four or less criteria, because of the ones that they give you, you can search for. So they make it very easy for you once you're in there to start to filter your searches. And you'll find that under Relationship Explorer. And don't get hung up on the names, because basically as you scroll down the account page, you're going to see all of these.
Mhm.
Yeah, so as soon as you do one scroll, you'll see Relationship Explorer. Yep. Any other thoughts on that before I jump to number 5, which
Well,
is the
I'm curious as I look into this, in Relationship Explorer, looking at our first degrees and our second degrees is really important. Mapping out your social proximity. Now, a lot of times, at least in the olden days, we were taught go as high as you possibly can. High, 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 right? I believe with the ability for us to leverage our connections, our first degree, our second degree connections, that mapping out social proximity, it's high and warm, right? We want to go. So I think warm first. Like in the world, we say quality over quantity,
quantity.
warm
Yeah.
over high. Right. Let's start with, do I
Mm,
know anyone working at that company? Even if they're not my buyer, do I have a first degree connection there? And do I start a conversation? Could they give me an inside scoop? Could they let me know, whatever priorities or trends are happening inside the organization? You can learn a lot from a non buyer that you have a relationship with. The next thing is, do you have a relationship with someone a warm relationship that's high?
mm,
So that's high in the organization. To clarify that.
yeah.
That's high in
Yeah.
the organization. So, so if you have a client or a referral partner or someone that might know your buyer, right? And then you can leverage that relationship to get a warm introduction or to connect in. So when you are looking at that company, we want persona, but we also want to take the persona off and look at relationship, first degree and then second degree.
Agree. Yes. Yes, exactly. That, yeah, so I guess warm and high is high within the organization is the ideal
Yes,
combo.
right. I know the
Yeah.
CEO. That's awesome. I know a salesperson in a large organization, and I've mapped out, and by the way, this is coming in Sales Navigator preview, org charts. They are going to be giving us org charts. So gonna be amazing. Anyway, so I can go, okay, I know the sales rep. I met him at a convention. We had a great conversation. I want to get 4 people above. How do I map that out? How do I go through this? I ask, who do you know in this chart? How far can you get up in an introduction? Right. And so that social proximity and that mapping out is huge. And the fact that in February, I believe, we will have org charts. It's going to be
Ooh,
amazing.
boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be awesome,
Uh,
because what they've given us for now, so to speak, is the relationship map, which is where we can try and build our own based on what we find out. But as Bryn mentioned, what's coming is that Sales Navigator will be doing even more of the work for us. But right now, we do have what's called the relationship map, which is where you can, based on your knowledge and anything, information and business intelligence you're able to glean from your relationships within the organization, you can start to map out your own org chart, so to speak. And that's what they're calling. Love it. Thanks, Matthew. That's what that's what they're calling the relationship map.
So, for those of
And
you in replay, listen only podcast mode, Matthew, is it Corba or Chorba? I'm not sure. Hi and feeling warm. Thanks for that.
yes, thank you. Thank you. So next, we've talked about this one a lot. Won't spend a whole lot of time on it, which is buyer intent, which you'll see as you scroll further
I'm
down
not ready for
the
that.
page. Expand. Tell us more,
Or
Christina.
I should say it's not ready for us. Buyer intent is so shallow right now.
Mm,
It really is. Someone from your company is connected to someone at that company. They follow your company page. While I believe that's warm intent, they're calling it buyer intent. And I really think it should be on the radar instead of
yeah.
intent. They know who your company is. There's no actual intent with the information they're giving us. There's no like, we've identified that they're Googling solutions like yours. That's buyer intent, right? This is
Mhm.
they pretty much know who your company is. Maybe they
Yes.
engaged, they downloaded a paid ad. That would show up as buyer intent. That doesn't mean that they're intending to buy. So maybe I'd be good with it if it were called something else.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So buyer is intent is a little bit of a reach
Maybe
right now.
shown interest.
Yeah. Okay.
If they followed your company, I'm okay with that shown interest. But they don't. Maybe they followed your company because they want to work there. We don't
Mhm.
really know. It's not like, oh, buyer intent. They followed your company. They want to buy your services. I mean, you know, like it's not deep enough information for me. Now, if it's they downloaded an ebook and shared it with 10 people, hmm, that could be
Mm.
buyer intent right now. And with tools like smart links, we can measure some of those things. But
See that.
I digress. Bring me back.
No. But actually, yeah, sometimes the language does make a difference. So, as you're saying, these people have some type of intent because normally they won't stumble across you for no reason,
Yeah,
especially if it's multiple people. But as Bryn said, those people may not be buyers. They may not be in a buying cycle. They may have an intent for a reason other than interest in purchase.
right, right. So take it with a grain of
So,
salt.
salt. Yep. Yep. And then lastly, are alerts.
Mhm.
And the good news, you can find alerts just about everywhere on Sales Navigator, which is a good thing.
Yep.
When you come to log into Sales Navigator on your homepage, first thing you'll see are alerts, which you can filter based on a number of different things.
But on a company page, it's awesome. Right? So we could go
Ye-
into a company and see all, did they have a funding event? Did they new hires, layoffs, all on the company page. So as much as I love them on the home feed, I think they're more valuable when you're going after a company, even more because it's like we've saved accounts and it's coming into our home feed, but we could miss stuff. Right? Like you
Exactly.
can it's just there's a ton of information. It could get lost in the noise, but if you are going after, especially if you're like an ABM or you've got these 30 accounts that you're going after, you've got deep dives. I mean, you get such great insight. Company shares, you get to see on that page what's going on, mentioned in the news, all in one place. Hey, I hope I'm saying it right because I'm not looking at the page.
Right.
Remembering.
Right.
Can't get the word out. Been a long day. Remembering.
Yeah.
Anyway, so love
Yes.
it, love it, love it, love it. And those are all almost all actionable. Right. And that's when people are saying, well, what do I do with that? What do I do when I see there's a funding opportunity? Well, go to your, find out who the buyer is. Maybe I might look to see if there's a press release. I'll send them their own press release. Sometimes they don't see it, especially in a bigger company. Stan, congratulations on your company getting funding. This has got to be an incredibly exciting time. I'm not sure if you saw the press release. Often people miss their own content. I thought I'd buy, or if you're interested, let me know. I'll send you a link, or I'll put it in a smart link, and then I'll know that they got to it. And then they forward that to other people in their company, and they're looking at it. Now, this is not a sales thing. This is a build rapport relationship thing. But,
Mhm.
when you do this, it's incredible. Nobody else is doing that. Nobody, they might congratulate them, but nobody's sending them the press release, right? Nobody, we're going above and beyond. And I think it's a great opportunity. And then I don't want to get too far off track because I know we need to wrap this up, but you could eventually invite them to a live and talk about their journey to Series A funding. You
Mm.
could interview them for an ebook. You could, I mean, you get a quote from them and then really promote this for them, and they become like really a friend. It's amazing how quickly that can happen.
Yep, that is awesome because that's one of the things that, again, a lot of people will not think of is sending a contact their own company's press release, because in the back of our minds, we automatically assume, well, they already know that. And as Bryn said, in a large organization, actually, a lot of times they will not, because they're involved in other things in their own world within the company. So, yep, it's another opportunity to start a conversation.
Love it. A trust-based conversation without being salesy.
Salesy. Yes. And that is the perfect note to wrap up on. We just wanted to run over those things again. A lot of you are probably already using them. You probably see them every day, but a lot of times they just kind of fade into the background. We become blind to them and forget about how useful they are. So, Bryn, thank you so much. As always, this has been awesome. I have my own takeaways, and I'm so glad this is recorded so I can go back and re-listen to it.
Yeah, and I have my big takeaway is I need 2 more persona. Yeah, each of us every single time. And we talk almost every day. But on this show, we learn from each other more than any other time, I believe in. So thanks for doing
Yep.
this with me.
Yes, my pleasure. And thank you, Bryn. Have a great rest of the day, everyone.
Have a great one. Thanks.
Thanks for listening. And join us again for more insights on Sales Navigator and social selling strategies that will differentiate you from your competitors and accelerate your sales success. In the meantime, you can go to socialsaleslink.com/library for free content on LinkedIn, Sales Navigator, and social selling.